Saunders Research Onion. If research methodology feels confusing, you're not alone. Many students struggle not because research is difficult, but because they don't know how all the methodological choices fit together. That's where Saunders Research Onion comes in. Welcome. In this video, I'll explain Saunders Research Onion model step by step, using simple language and real examples, so you can design a clear, logical, and defensible research methodology. What is Saunders Research Onion? At its core, Saunders Research Onion is a framework for making research decisions. It shows you what choices you must make, in what order, and how each choice connects to the next. It's called an onion because research design is built in layers. You start with big ideas and beliefs, and move inward toward practical methods and techniques. As you peel each layer, your research design becomes more focused and concrete. The first layer, research philosophy. Everything starts with research philosophy. Research philosophy refers to your beliefs about knowledge and reality. In simple terms, it answers questions like, what is reality? Can it be measured objectively? Or is it shaped by human experience? There are three common philosophies you'll encounter. Positivism assumes that reality is objective and measurable. Knowledge comes from observation, measurement, and statistics. For example, if you want to test whether training increases productivity, and you measure output before and after training, you are working from a positivist philosophy. Interpretivism assumes that reality is subjective and socially constructed. Meaning depends on context, culture, and human experience. For example, if you study how employees feel about motivation through interviews, you are using an interpretivist philosophy. Pragmatism focuses on what works. It does not commit to one philosophy. Instead, it chooses methods that best answer the research question. For example, you may use a survey to measure job satisfaction, and interviews to explain why satisfaction is low. Your research philosophy is the foundation. Every other decision must align with it. The second layer, research approach. Once your philosophy is clear, you decide on your research approach. This answers one key question. Are you testing existing theory or building new theory? A deductive approach starts with theory. You develop hypotheses and test them with data. For example, testing whether advertising increases sales based on existing economic theory. An inductive approach starts with data. You collect information first, and then develop theory from patterns you observe. For example, interviewing workers in an unfamiliar industry to understand how motivation operates. In general, quantitative research tends to be deductive. Qualitative research tends to be inductive. The third layer, research strategy. Now things become more practical. Your research strategy is the overall plan for how the research will be conducted. Common strategies include experimental research, where variables are controlled and tested. Action research, where problems are solved through real-world action. Case studies, where one case is studied in depth. Grounded theory, where theory is developed from data. Ethnography, where culture and social behavior are studied. Archival research, where existing documents and records are analyzed. For example, studying one organization deeply case study. Testing cause and effect experimental research. Improving practice in a classroom action research. Your strategy must match your aims, philosophy, and approach. The fourth layer, methodological choices. Next, you decide how many types of data you will use. You have three options. A monomethod approach uses only one type of data, either qualitative or quantitative. A mixed methods approach uses both qualitative and quantitative data. A multi-method approach uses several methods within the same data type. For example, interviews plus focus groups plus document analysis is multi-method qualitative research. Your choice depends on your research question, your resources, and the depth of understanding you need. The fifth layer, time horizon. Now you decide when data will be collected. A cross-sectional study collects data at one point in time. Think of it as a snapshot. For example, a survey conducted this year. A longitudinal study collects data over time. This allows you to study change and trends. For example, tracking employee performance over 5 years. Your time horizon depends on your objectives and time constraints. The final layer, techniques and procedures. At the center of the onion are techniques and procedures. This is where you decide how you will collect data, how you will sample participants, how you will analyze data, what instruments you will use. Examples include questionnaires, interviews, observations, random sampling, convenience sampling, statistical analysis, or thematic analysis. These techniques must align with all outer layers. For example, a deductive quantitative study will usually use surveys and statistical tests, not in-depth interviews. Final recap. Saunders Research Onion helps you design research that is logical, consistent, and defensible. You move from philosophy approach strategy choices, time horizon techniques. Each layer must connect back to your research aims. Peeling the onion properly helps you write a strong methodology chapter and avoid common research mistakes. If this explanation helped you, save this video for revision. Drop your questions in the comments. Share it with a classmate. And follow Kuraz for more educational contents.